What's going on, everybody? My name is Monetary, coach of the Tampa Bay Luxrays. Today I'm bringing you guys our TBU Week 7 match versus Rizzy Powell, coach of the Phoenix Sunflora. Check him out in the description below. He is a content creator, uploads somewhat regularly, I believe. By saying that, I probably reveal that I don't watch him often, but don't do what I do and start watching him. This is a wonderful intro. I'm going to keep it. Anyway, team preview. Let's get into the things related to the game. Riz brought his Nidoqueen, Megalodios, Lucario, Jirachi, Snorlax, and Clefable, and I have an entire team builder dedicated to my team, but for a quick rundown, we have our modest Mega Blastoise, we have our Life Orb Zoroark, we have our Mixed Defensive Cresselia, we have our Expert Belt Kyurem Black, we have our Life Orb Scolipede, and we have our Gligar that does not have Earthquake, which is interesting, but I wanted U-turn, and yeah, you'll see how that works out in the match. So, looking at his team, Mega Blastoise looks really good as a lead. It beats lead Jirachi, can beat Snorlax to a KO with Aura Sphere, it beats lead Lucario, can possibly beat lead Megalodios, can beat lead Nidoqueen. The only thing it can't really beat is Clefable, and even then, Hydro Pump will be able to KO it if he is not near full Spadef. So that is really nice, and I do have my checks to Clefable being things like Scolipede, I have Iron Head on Kyurem Black, I have Sludge Bomb on Zoroark, I have Calm Mind Cresselia to beat any set of Clefable. Even if it is unaware, I do have the skill swap to get rid of its unaware, so there is that. So, like I just said, I'm going to lead with my Blastoise, and Riz was actually scouting me out very well. He saw that in a lot of my games I actually decided to lead Mega Blastoise, so he sees this lead coming rather, and leads with his Clefable, which is very good for him because if he does have rocks, he can go for him here. He is more than likely calm so that he can take on Hydro Pumps from this thing. So I'm going to hard switch out into my Gligar, not wanting him to set up. Also, I can get up rocks versus this thing. I didn't think he'd be carrying the Ice Beam, and I am able to take this relatively well, which is very nice. Here, like I said, I am going to just go for my Stealth Rock. They're going to be very important in this game, and as you can see, he is going to start setting up the Calm Minds, which is kind of scary, but I do have some very safe pivots into this thing, being things like my Cresselia, my Scolipede, things like that. And here, I probably should have clicked U-turn, because, like I said, Cresselia beat this thing 1v1, but I just didn't want him to get up a second Calm Mind, start doing more damage with Moonblast, even though I definitely could have just U-turned out and allowed Cresselia to take that damage. I decided against it. But here, after I taunt him, he is going to go for the Moonblast, which is unfortunate, but I U-turn out now into my, I believe my Cresselia. Don't know because it's Stan. There we go, Cresselia. Like I said, this Cresselia beats any form of Clefable. If it's unaware, I have Skill Swap. If it's Magikarp, I can Skill Swap it anyway and just be the most disgusting Pokemon in existence. But as you can see, he's going to predict me to be the Calm Mindset. He knows that he loses to this thing 1v1, so he is going to hard switch out into his Snorlax, which is a very good play on his part, because if this is a Curselax, it easily beats me 1v1. So yeah, not too much else to say about that. Very good play on his part, as I am going to go for the Calm Mind. Like I said, this is a little bit unfortunate because, like I just said, if this is Curselax, it beats me 1v1. If it has Pursuit, it won't be doing too much to me, just because Cresselia is really bulky. Here, fearing the Curse, I'm actually going to go out into my Gligar, just wanting to taunt this thing, stop it from doing any other setup. Well, I mean, by any other setup, I mean stop it from cursing up, essentially. And I am kind of just going to stack my Gligar here. I got up rocks. It's not going to be doing a lot of damage through the with the rest of his team. I only have U-turn as my attacking move, so it could pivot around certain things, but especially, like, I don't have a great switch in a Snorlax. Cresselia can kind of take hits from it well, but it's going to be set up fodder to the Snorlax, so I'm not going to risk that. I'm just going to go for the taunt here and let him kill me. And as you can see, this Body Slam is going to come close to killing me, and here I actually go for a second taunt, essentially just because I want this Gligar to die. There's no point in roosting because I can't U-turn out into anything safely, but he actually doesn't kill me and leaves me at 1 HP and paralyzes me. Not that either of those things matter, because I would have just gone for the taunt again, even though it wouldn't have done anything. I want this Gligar to die so I can get a free switch into my Mega Blastoise and 2-KO this thing with the Aura Sphere. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. Going to go out into that Mega Blastoise and just go right for that Aura Sphere. As you can see, he is going to stay in, which is very nice. I will be able to get massive damage off onto this thing. And as you can see here, he actually has the Chople Berry, which is very nice for me, because getting rid of that Chople Berry means that my Zoroark will be able to easily OHKO this thing later on with Low Kick. So I'm looking forward to that. I do get a crit, which is unfortunate. It puts it didn't matter in range in terms of putting it in range of low kick from Zoroark, but it definitely sucks. His Snorlax is now weakened. It's going to be pressured a little bit more throughout the game. Here he is going to make the play out into Clefable as I go for another safe Aura Sphere, and as you can see, that does not do a lot of damage, revealing that he is more Spadef. I'm going to go for the Hydro Pump because I can possibly 2 a KO from this range, but unfortunately I missed, and he is going to get off some nice damage with the Moonblast, which definitely sucks, but there's not too much else I can do about it. Here, I decide I need to play a little bit more aggressively. I'm going to go right out into my Scolipede. I don't think he'd go for the Flamethrower on that turn, and as you can see, he actually reveals the Cosmic Power. So he has the Cosmic Power Calmine Clefable. That is horrifying, but at least I know that it more than likely doesn't have anything to hit my Scolipede very hard. It's probably just like soft-boiled, Calmine, Cosmic Power, Moonblast. So I'm going to go for the safe Poison Jab as he sends in his Nidoqueen, which is pretty much a hard counter to this. And after seeing no item on this thing, I am heavily fearing the Shuca Berry, which means that I will not be able to knock this thing out with the Earthquake. Even at this point, if he wasn't, I wasn't able to knock him out anyway, but with a Shuca, it's going to do pathetic damage. So I make the offensive switch into my Kyurem Black, which will be able to threaten this thing immediately and take any hit he wants to go for. He's going to go for the Flamethrower, and judging by that damage, this is definitely a more bulky Nidoqueen. I am naive in nature, I have a lot of speed investment, so he is definitely bulky, not running very little special attack, if any. So I'm just going to go for the safe Earth Power as the Clefable comes in. I can possibly knock this thing out with the Iron Head from this range, but if he is Babiri Berry, which I'm thinking he is because he doesn't show an item once again, and I don't think he'd be Kebia Berry because he only has Moonblast to hit my Scolipede, it wouldn't make sense to run it on this Clefable, so I didn't want to risk that. But here, this is where I start playing a little bit more aggressively, and it pays off in my favor. I know he's going to switch out, there's no way he's going to stay in with his Clefable, it cannot touch me, so I'm going to go right for the Earthquake as he hard switches in his Jirachi, and that is going to be an easy 2 a KO. He also does not have anything to switch in on this Mon. He can possibly pivot around it going into Mega Latios and then doubling into Nidoqueen, but Mega Latios will be taking rocks, Nidoqueen will be taking rocks, plus a Mega Horn on the way in, so he's not going to risk any of that. He's just going to stack his Jirachi, which I am totally fine with, because that is one less thing that I have to deal with on his team, a very annoying thing to my team, and I'm one step closer to just spamming Poison Jab across his entire team, which is very nice. Here, as you can see, he is going to send out his Nidoqueen, pretty much confirming that he is Shuca Berry. Like, I believe Earthquake was a roll if it wasn't Shuca Berry. I don't think he'd want to risk this. He has other mons to deal with this. So, once again, I am just going to switch out here, this time into my Cresselia as he goes through the Flamethrower, which is going to do about 4. That does about 4 damage to my Cresselia. And here I'm going to pull a double out into my Mega Blastoise, because I think he's either going to switch out into his Snorlax, because if I set up a Calm Mind here, that is very bad for him. If I set up 2 Calm Minds, it could actually be game over, even if he does have Toxic and status as me. Also, if he stayed in and did have some sort of status like Toxic, my Mega Blastoise will be able to take it, and then I can fire off a powerful Hydro Pump onto his team. So I am going to pull this double out into my Mega Blastoise, and as you're going to see in one moment, he actually decides to stay in and does have the Toxic. Lands it, of course, because he's a Poison type, and that is a little bit unfortunate to my Mega Blastoise. It was already kind of low, so it didn't matter too much, but definitely just sucks a little bit. But regardless, I have a lot of speed investment in this thing. I can probably outspeed a defensive Nidoqueen, and I am just going to go right for the Hydro Pump. I wish I went for the Dark Pulse here, but Hydro Pump, as you're going to see, is still going to do a ton of damage on this unmega Latios at this point. And here, I don't have a great switch into this thing. My Cresselia needs a couple Calm Minds in order to beat it, because I'm running mono-attacking Psyshock. But as you're going to see here, he is going to Mega Evolve, which is an awesome looking Mega Evolution. I haven't really seen that on Wi-Fi before. And he's actually going to knock me out with the Dragon Claw, so I'm immediately fearing that this is a Dragon Dance Mega Latios, which is definitely spooky. I gotta keep my Scolipede alive for that thing to check it offensively. And speaking of which, I'm going to send it in now. And I wanted to click Earthquake here as the Nidoqueen came in, but I decided I couldn't risk this thing. He might have just decided to sack his Mega Latios there, hoping I overpredicted, so I'm going to go right for the Mega Horn. I am able to connect, and unfortunately, Earthquake is a roll not in my favor to kill from this range, especially if he is Shuca Berry. It's very unlikely that I'll be able to kill it, so I don't feel comfortable staying in against this thing and losing my Scalipede. Like I said, I need it for the Mega Latios, I can outspeed the Lucario and kill it with EQ. So I'm going to hard switch out into my Kieran Black once again. I can take a Flamethrower, Earth Power, whatever he decides to go for, as he decides to set up his Stealth Rocks, which is a very good plan on his part, putting a lot of my mons on a timer. Here I'm going to go for the Earth Power, as it is revealed that he is Shuca Berry as I suspected, but the Shuca Berry will not be able to save him. That is an extra felt boosted Earth Power from Kieran Black, and Nidoqueen is going to go down. Didn't go for Ice Beam because I don't have Ice Beam on this set, and anyway here, I'm like, alright, Kieran Black's gonna die, I can go out in a Scalipede, kill this thing, that'll be cool. So he's gonna go for the Dragon Claw, and holy shit, Kieran Black is ridiculous. Mega Latios broken in League format, get out of here. So, Kieran Black's gonna live on a sliver of health and is going to be able to knock out the Mega Latios. That is incredible. I did not expect to survive that hit. Like, I understand Kieran Black's bulky, but Mega Latios has decent attack, and that was a stab Dragon Claw. But anyway, he's going to send out his Lucario. I actually missed that he had Air Balloon, and I clicked Earth Power here, so if he had, like, Swords Dance or something like that, that could have been really bad. Even though I do have Cresselia, which can take it on, that would have been stupid, and I would have felt dumb. But regardless, here I'm going to go out into Cresselia, which is not Cresselia, it's actually Zoroark, and he actually does not go for the Vacuum Wave. I'm not sure if he missed that this was actually Zoroark, or what, because Vacuum Wave would have hurt, or if he just wanted to save his Lucario, because Vacuum Wave wasn't a guaranteed KO. But anyway, here, I have the guaranteed 2 KO on this Clefable, gonna go for Flamethrower, then I'm gonna go for Sludge Bomb, and now this Clefable is going to go down. Now, you may be asking yourself, hey, your Zoroark didn't have Flamethrower in the team builder. Well, we'll get to that in a moment. In comes the Snorlax, and I'm like, okay, I can knock this thing out with Low Kick, except, you know when Showdown does that thing? If you've laddered on Showdown for a decent amount of time, you've probably experienced this. You know when you're on Showdown and suddenly the servers are like, yeah, we're gonna restart now. And it doesn't care whether you're in the middle of a match, it doesn't matter what you're doing, it just restarts, and then you have to, like, reset all your progress and whatnot. If you're in the middle of a game, it doesn't let you back into that game. So I finished team building, started up a game, went back, was like, I don't need Flamethrower, let's just put Low Kick on this thing. Put in Low Kick, a minute or two later, still in that same game, I think it was like an RU game or whatever, Showdown does that reset thing, and then I don't check the team to make sure that everything stayed the same. I was just like, oh, that's annoying, and then I just went for another game. And little did I know that the last minute change from Flamethrower to Low Kick did not save, so that's a problem. And as you're gonna see, I kind of just have to go for the Dark Pulse flinch. Flinch or a crit will be able to win me the game, but as you can see here, I do not get either. He's going to live on a sliver of health and is going to get all of that back and go right for the rest, which is really unfortunate because that kind of just would have guaranteed me the win. His Lucario could have came in, killed me with Vacuum Wave or Aura Sphere or whatever he wanted to go for, E-Speed even, and then I could have gone out into my actual Cresselia to knock it out. But as you see here, now I'm forced out into my Cresselia, and I have to get very lucky versus the Snorlax in order to knock it out. And as you can see, he's going to get the Sleep Talk roll into Body Slam, and first Body Slam is going to paralyze me. Not a huge deal. Once he starts setting up enough curses, I'll be able to outspeed it regardless. Didn't want to go directly into Scalipede for that exact reason. I can possibly 2 KO with Mega Horn, but I didn't want to risk him getting Body Slam, which would have been able to knock me out there. So as you can see, he's going to go for another Sleep Talk, gets another Body Slam, which isn't the worst thing in the world. I'm like, alright, maybe I can start setting up Calm Minds, maybe I can make something happen. So I am going to go right for that Calm Mind. He is going to wake up this turn, and he will be able to get a Curse up, but if I can go for a Moonlight, and maybe not get paralyzed enough times, and maybe get a crit at the right time, then maybe I'll be able to pull this game out. So he's going to wake up as expected. I'm going to go for the Curse. Speed's going to drop because that's super important on a Snorlax. Attack and raise, defense going to raise. That is exactly what Curse does, unless you're a Ghost type, which is cool. I'm kind of just providing extra commentary because this last part is going to take a very long time. But anyway, I'm going to Moonlight up, heal up. Just for those of you keeping track, Snorlax is currently at +1/+1. I am currently at +1/+1. He's going to go right for the Body Slam, which Cresselia is still able to take very well because Cresselia is a Cresselia and can take hits left and right, even from a +1 Snorlax, which is nice. I'm going to get up to +2/+2 here, which is nice, and, you know, going to get leftovers back. Oh, okay, I'm kind of tired of commentating over this. I'm just going to let you guys watch what happens. Spoiler alert, I lose this game, I don't know if I'll speed this up. I might. Do I even know how to do that in editing? Probably not. I could probably, like, just speed along. Yeah, let's just go ahead. Let's see, do I get... Nope, that's nothing. Gonna go ahead, get full parry, that's cool. He goes for a curse. Let's see, gonna go for the side shot. Holy shit, I crit in! Yay! He goes for rest! Oh. So yeah, I'm just gonna keep skipping ahead. This is the greatest video of all time. More sleep talks, more this thing not dying, Psyshock. I'm like +4 at this point, doesn't matter because he's like +1,000,000. So he's gonna wake up, you're gonna go for body slam. Do I die here? Tell me I die here so I can move this along. Thank Christ. Alright, so Cresselia dies here. And then if I like crit flinch him with Zoroark here, twice, or no, I go into Scolipede. If I crit him with Megahorn, I can actually win this game. So gonna go for Megahorn, and gonna land it. Do we get the crit? Holy shit, that did absolutely nothing. So, Scolipede, goodbye. You did more damage to yourself with Life Orb than you did to that Snorlax. I hope you're happy. He's gonna body slam, doesn't really matter. He's just gonna sit there and be a fat fuck. And then I'm gonna go out into Zoroark, not disguised as anything, because every one of his friends is dead. I'm gonna go for the Dark Pulse. If I can crit flinch, then maybe I can win. I'm gonna go for it. It does decent damage, actually, which I was surprised to see. But no flinch. He's gonna body slam. And dead. Even if I did somehow kill the Snorlax, he had Lucario in the back with Vacuum Wave, so it didn't matter one way or the other. And yeah, that is going to be the game. We lose 2-0 versus Rizzy Pow. I apologize for that. Whoa, that looks weird. There we go. I apologize for, like, the sloppy, like, cut to the end of the battle, but like I said, it was just a war between Snorlax and Cresselia, combinding up, him cursing up me, praying for a crit, him just sitting there being fat. So there's really no point to show it. Like I said, just very unfortunate that I didn't have low kick on Zoroark. That would have been super handy this game. And by super handy, I mean it literally would have won me the game in that instant. But what can you do? Not a huge deal. If I didn't already have a playoff spot, I would be kind of pissed. But my playoff spot for this season is already confirmed, so I didn't care too much. Not a big deal. Also, some information regarding my next week's match. It's not happening. Xenon has left the league and has forfeited his last game, meaning that I receive a free 3-0 win, which is really cool. In order to get something up that day, I might do like a mock battle with somebody on Twitter or one of my friends with Xenon's team and with my team. That could possibly be fun. I don't know. I'll let you guys know on Twitter or something if that does happen. But regardless, great game, Riz. He played very, very well. Even if I did have low kick on my Zoroark, and even though I would have won, he definitely played very well all the way through. Latios not being able to kill my Kieran Black was definitely interesting. Very interesting. I'm still surprised that that was able to live. I think he maybe could have played with his Lucario a little bit better. Like, he had a couple opportunities to go into it because, like, things like Scolipede don't have moves to hit it because on a balloon, Earthquake doesn't hit it. He also could have banked off me being dumb like I was and missing the air balloon, because on Wi-Fi it's a little bit harder to see than on Showdown. But regardless, like I said, Riz, you played very well. Commends to you. I believe I might even be seeing him in the playoffs, so I might be able to get some revenge there. But regardless, I've been rambling on long enough. Thank you guys very much for watching, and I will see you in the playoffs.